Hi, my name is Chuck Rockesy. We're going to be showing you how to do maintenance, disassemble an ARI Model D025 air valve, and how to maintain it out in the field as well. This is the ARI Model D025. It is a reinforced nylon body. You're going to tell it's going to be all black like you see here. And if you're out in the field and you just want to do simple maintenance on it, you're going around, you could just actually back flush from the top of the valve down into your force main, making sure that your force main is not active. It's not active at that particular point. What you would do is using a cam lock, an 1.5 inch cam lock connection here. You have a male connection, so naturally you're going to have a female 1.5 inch cam lock. You could connect it right to here to the outlet and back flush right down through the valve. That would clear out any debris in the top area and then flush down any of the debris in the bottom of the valve down into the force main. But now let's assume that you want to disassemble the valve. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is close the isolation valve that would sit underneath this valve on the. Now, if the valve is under system pressure, what you're going to want to do is take the pressure off the inside of this valve, and using this connection right here and a flathead screwdriver, you just open this ValveValve, and that'll take any pressure within the valve, take that pressure off. So now you can work on the valve. So you've taken the valve system pressure off to just take this valve. The valve is actually a clamshell type of a construction. So you have this ring here. On this side, it's hinged. On this side, you're going to see a screw that's an Allen screw. You're just going to loosen this up like so. And the whole thing could be opened up like a clamshell like you see there. So there's a large O-ring underneath here. So again, assuming this would be under on top of the valve, on top of your isolation valve, you could just rock this and pull this up and apart. Now I'm going to show how that would work. There's your O-ring here. Inside of the valve, this would be on the isolation valve. You could physically look at this and do any cleaning of any debris that would be inside of that valve. So now some municipalities like to put a cam lock back on here and just flush this, right, like you see, either into a bucket or whatever right on site, and then reassemble the valve, just put that back on, and so forth, that you would be, and put the clamshell back, the clamp back on there and tighten it back up. If you want to further disassemble it now, what you're going to want to do, you can take off the top assembly, and all you need to do, lefty, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So starting the disassemble process here, you're going to take this off, and if you look right here, you're going to see a foot that holds on part of the rolling seal, which is the whole working mechanism of the valve. So just pulling out the foot, now you can disassemble the whole top, and you want to take a look at down in here, make sure it's all clear. If there's any debris there, you're going to want to wash that out. You can use Dawn dishwashing liquid and water. It's cuts grease if there's any grease in there. So now looking at the top of the valve, or the top of the float, the top float and the bottom float, this is the rolling seal, and this is the whole working mechanism, very simple working mechanism of the ARI valve. If this needs to be replaced, very simply what you do here is pull that out. There's again the rolling seal, and to reassemble a new one, you just slide it down into the slot there, like so. You want to make sure the bolts on the rolling seal are facing out, not like this. So you want to be assembled like this. And when you reassemble the valve, if you note the inside of the valve is on a angle just like the float, so you want to make sure that that's assembled. And so now reassembling the valve, you put the ear into, start the ear down into the slot, start the grooves into the grooves inside the top body, like so. You insert the foot into the top assembly, and then you simply start reassembling the valve. The easiest to do is hold the top and then screw the bottom. Then you reassemble the valve. Note one thing. If you look back into the body, there's an O-ring at the bottom here. As you see this O-ring here, make sure that hasn't been dislodged. And you want to make sure that's reconnected. One way you want to double check before you put the valve down and back in service is you want to make sure you inserted the rolling seal correctly. And that you could do this by looking down the outlet of the valve, and you'll be able to see the top of the rolling seal. Remember, we talked about the plastic section with the 2 screws? That should fit squarely into the opening in the top of the valve like you see here. If that's in position like you see, then everything is good and you're ready to reassemble the valve and put it back into service. Now, at this point, all you're going to do is reassemble the valve by putting the bottom section back to the top section, making sure that this O-ring is in place. Now, what you're going to do to reassemble the valve is put the bottom section to the top section. You want to make sure this O-ring is back in place. You're going to put these two together. You're going to put the clamp back on and then tighten down your Allen screw. All right, so now we put the clamp on, and using a 2.5 millimeter Allen screw, you simply tighten her up. You can tighten it as tight as you can get it. And you're good to go. There you go. Now you've completed the maintenance, the disassembly of the ARI D025 combination sewage air valve.